up into the terminology. So coming to the part of the manufacturing facilities, right? You already have the manufacturing facility into India and the other part of the world as well. So what are the overall potential or the what are the expansions plan into India?
Yeah. So we have been having manufacturing facility in India also since 2007, 2008, but that's more focusing on one or two products. But then 2015-16, the Delta had committed to grow its manufacturing operations in India. With that, we started building the factories in Krishnagiri. And if I have to say, we are seeing a very positive response in terms of a support from the government as well as the local infrastructure or ecosystem, which is going to increase our manufacturing operations in India. So as of now, even though we have global operations, we are trying to focus more and more in India because of the infrastructure available as well as the support from the government and the human capital which is available in India. So over a period of time, I think Delta will continue to invest more in terms of the manufacturing operations, and this manufacturing operations is also going to take a very, very key position in the Delta global scenario.
Now coming to the part of the EV charging stations, right? Wherein you were the pioneers into India, and I think you might be the first into India who have installed the EV charging stations at the very initial stages. And that technology now government is willing to deploy 100% e-vehicles by 2030. And there is a major concern specifically for the EV charging stations. And there might be the existing conversion of existing units to the infrastructure development. So what do you see the feasibility of converting 100% by 2030 into EV stations?
Yeah, the goal is quite challenging, as you rightly mentioned, because currently we all have been used to one kind of a technology or a segment or an infrastructure, and then suddenly changing it from A to B will put the things into difficult situation. But at the same time, I see there is a lot of policy support which is coming from the government, and not only that, a lot of manufacturers. The first thing, it's always a kind of chicken and egg, whether it's a EV or it's a EV charging infrastructure. But thankfully, both are gearing up well, very well. So the EV manufacturers or OEMs, they have started coming out with the relevant automobile for the EV segment. And if you ask me, the first thing to develop is the fleet system, like the consumer, let's say for the personal use, it will certainly make very good sense, but then he might move a little later than the fleet system. So in that way, we are seeing a lot of fleet segments are coming up, and then they're trying to use the EV for their day-to-day operations, and then this is going to kickstart. In addition to this, the two-wheeler as well as three-wheeler market, because India is one of the largest in terms of two-wheeler. So I see two-wheeler market is going to catch up very, very fast, even faster than the four-wheeler in terms of numbers. And for that also, we see a lot of OEMs have already geared up. And Delta, in terms of the charging infrastructure, we have prepared ourselves for a technology which could help the two-wheeler system or a three-wheeler system. I can give you an example. If a few companies, they don't want to develop a product which is going to use a standalone charging system, we also have a battery swapping station which is going to be quite quick. So battery swapping stations will not make anybody to wait there for a long time to charge their vehicle. They just have to replace the battery and move on. So this is something which we are developing, looking at the future demand in mind. So we are prepared. I think OEM are also prepared. And when I say we like my other industry friends, they are also prepared. And the OEM segment is also prepared. So we only have to wait and see how far we will be able to convert into from the conventional to the EV. But then I could see a very good growth potential or a progress or a kind of push which is happening in the industry.
As they rightly said that to be in the market, we have to apply the first thing on the us, and then definitely we can prove it to the market that okay, we have applied, and that is the tried and tested version of this. Okay. So you have also mentioned one of the part that you have some of the wind solution specifically. So can you brief me about that?
These are the wind converters basically used in the large windmills to improve the efficiency. These are the power converters which are being used in the wind. We have supplied more than 400 megawatt wind converters in India. They have been functioning quite well in India, and we continue to work in this direction.
That's fantastic. So typically that enhances the existing windmills performance, right? And if we can consider into percentage, how many percentage we can?
I need to check and come back.
That's great. So, the apart of coming to the you have the other cooling solution and the rest of the part as well. So, which is kind of the data center solution or that. And the data center is now a basic need, and many of the companies from the US is shifting the data centers into Indian market. And already telecom sector, as you said, that telecom sector is also booming into India, and 5G is also booming into the next generation phase. So what do you see the overall data center challenges, and how can it be converted into the opportunity?
Yeah. So since you have touched upon the telecom, in India we have been present in the telecom more than 20 years for the telecom power management solutions, and we have been building the blocks because many of the main switching center which needs the large DC power are being supplied by Delta. So it gave us a lot of time to understand the real needs of the power electronics industry in India when it goes to telecom or then the data center. So those are the areas where we could use our R&D skills which are there in India to make sure that we come out with the right product or a right solution even for data center. So when we talk about data center today, I mean, from the technology point of view, what we are working, I don't find many of our challenges which is coming up because we work very closely with our customers, and it's very important because these are a kind of modular or scalable, and we work with them to understand what is their requirement, and we have our own battery solutions because we have the lithium ion battery technology within Delta, and this also will help our customers to choose our own battery. And then when the UPS as well as when the battery and then the entire solutions come from Delta, the confidence from the customer is pretty high on Delta. And for us also, it is easy to manage the back end or the supply chain or the operation and maintenance for a long time since most of the technology is in-house.
So the I think the next product would be the robotics, right? You have and then robotic is changing the industry scenario overall, and as we have the better human resources, but the other challenge is the skill resources is not available, and robotic is a part wherein that can solve the majority of problem for the 24 by 7 operations. And if we need to grow, because India has a massive demands in a house which is required, and then again the capacity to supply to the other countries as well. So what do you see the overall feasibility as a robotics changing the industrial environment specifically into production?
Yeah, I think I have also mentioned in the beginning that we always have to create a balance between human capital as well as automation. I think Delta is in that direction so that we will try to make sure that it complements each other. So in India, we see there is a huge push or a demand in terms of the increase in manufacturing because most of the manufacturing now, Make in India is one policy which is rightly put up by the government supporting this, as well as many people are trying to demand the Make in India product. So that means there is a sudden growth in the manufacturing activity or any of the process for that matter, because we see a lot of supply chain requirements, a lot of retailing requirements, distribution. And as you rightly said, whenever something grows very fast, the skill upliftment or a skill development also will take its own time. It is not immediately. So that's where what we are trying to do is that we are trying to understand the gap in terms of the skills, and then we are also trying to see that what kind of solutions, robotic, be it robotic or process or be it anything for that matter, what in terms of the automation, what is the best solution we need to introduce so that we will be able to complement the human resource available in India or human capital which is available in India, and then make sure that that works good for our customers, and it will also help them to make sure that improve their yield or efficiency in their overall automation journey.
So I think that was the very great insights, typically on the technology front, and definitely the growth, as you have said that you were pioneer into the EV charging into infrastructure into India. I think automation also might be, you were the very initial stage. You have done the industrial automation into India with the collaboration or the joint venture, and then you have now reached to the certain level wherein the other industries are still trying to reach on that level. Apart of that, the other technologies which is definitely going to change the Indian infrastructure specifically, because the India is developing on the huge infrastructure part, and wherein the government is also implementing the huge spends into this, and they will be needing the companies like you wherein they can support it by the infrastructure's development, and drastic change has to be happen very soon. So thank you very much, Niranjan, for your insights and technology. And with your support and the research and the manufacturing capabilities, will definitely ensure that the India will reach to the net zero energy before 2070 into this year.
Thank you so much, Bhavin. It is nice talking to you, and thanks for all the support.
Thank you very much. इनफैक्ट दैट वुड बी वेरी ग्रेटफुल. सो एक कहावत है जैसे अगर बाप से बेटा सवाया होता है तो बाप को खुशी होती है. सो इनफैक्ट if the partners are even more capable enough into technical handling systems.
Yeah, we have very capable partner, and then we have a very regular training mechanism. Of course, they need more training in terms of new products which are introduced, and at the end of the day, we handhold them in terms of any support needed. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Manish ji, for your key insights and the supports.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
So good afternoon. Again, now we are at the Delta Electronics, and we have Mr. Rajesh Kaushal, Vice President of CIS Business Unit. So Rajesh ji, if you can tell us about the CIS, what does it mean for the Delta?
CIS is Communication Infrastructure Solutions, and it is a part of ICTBG, Infrastructure Communication Technology Business Group within Delta, which is one of the largest business group in India. It contributes approximately 50% of total India's revenue, and this division has three business units within it. One is the Telecom Power Solutions, in which we are already the market leaders for the last almost 20 years. The second business unit that we have within ICTBG CISBU is the MCIS, which is called as Mission Critical Infrastructure Solutions, which is primarily for the battery backup solutions for uninterrupted power supply that is required in various applications in the industry. It also caters to the data center application for the telecom, for the power solutions, and also for the backup solutions. The third business division that we have within ICTBG is Altech business unit, which also has a parallel product line as that of Telecom Power, in which we cater to the Telecom Power Solutions, and also we cater to the industrial power solutions for the DC power solutions.
So coming to the part of the battery storage, now it's an huge demand, and while we are discussing about the one solar, one nation, one world, one grid, so that will be creating a huge demand for the battery storage solution. And at a present, there is a scenario that affordability of battery storage solution is not that much affordable. So how are you placed at the solution towards the storage solution?
So within Delta Electronics, we have one business unit which is dedicated for the lithium-ion battery business. This technology we acquired from Mitsubishi Heavy Industries way back in 2014. We acquired their complete lithium-ion battery business along with their technology, along with their patents, and also we moved the factory to Taiwan. So that's our investment into the lithium-ion battery business and our focus as a dedicated application. Now, coming to how we are trying to be more effective and more affordable and more valuable to the industry in the lithium-ion battery is by manufacturing the products in-house, doing the technology in-house, and also by localizing those products in India. So in our Krishnagiri factory, we will be setting up a new product initiative, in which we will be producing the lithium-ion batteries in India, for which we will have investment coming from our corporate, and we will be catering to the telecom market first in the initial stage, and then gradually we'll ramp that up for the MCIS solutions, for the UPS solutions, and then eventually we'll take it up to the EIS, which is Energy Infrastructure Solutions, for our various applications within energy infrastructure, primarily with respect to solar and other things also.
That's fantastic. So while and in fact, definitely that will help us the Indian economy to boost up into this scenario, and we will also be going to achieve the net zero target achievement for the entire industry. Right. While the entire industry is now moving towards the IoT or Industry 4.0, right, there is a huge infrastructure demand, specifically into telecom. And as you said that you are being the 50% of your business is belong to telecom industry.
Yes.
So how it will change the 5G? You have also introduced sometime the products for the 5G. So how it will be benefited for the industry to uh, generate the retrofit specifically, because it is in huge demand. They convert the existing infrastructure into the 5G or into industry 4.0.
Right. So I'll take a specific use case of telecom power, in which we have approximately maybe 600,000 towers in the country, and all those towers, they require to be monitored at the customers' network operation centers, and a dedicated communication channel is required for all the data, for all the alarms, and for all the communication to happen seamlessly, so that the energy could be monitored, controlled, and improved in all those telecom sites. So in these telecom sites, as I said, that we have approximately 60% market share in the telecom power. We are continuously working on our on our controllers and on our technology, so that we could improve the digitization in our controllers, and also make the communication more effective. So IoT is becoming a very, very important element in our design philosophies, and our R&D is working on various products and technologies to integrate IoT parameters within our existing rectifiers and within our existing controllers. So as a use case, what we can also do is that all the equipments which are already installed, we are trying to develop technologies which could be retrofitted to the existing installed base, so that the existing installed base could also be seamlessly graduated to the same environment. Of course, the new technologies which we will be adopting and deploying, they'll be all IoT based, and they'll have industry 4.0 features for better data capturing, and various technologies adopted to it. But we are also trying to do it for the retrofit applications for the existing installed base.
So in the industry 4.0, now many of the industries are not focusing on the wireless communication systems, right? Or they are reluctant because of the data accuracy or the data seamless transmission through the multiple ports. So what are your solutions or the advantages towards the wired towards the and the wireless solution?
See, it's a very wide topic. It goes back to the communication technologies. I'm an expert of power, and I'm an expert of telecom power solutions and infrastructure solutions for the communication industry. So this is, but then my thoughts are like. In telecom sites, there is two kinds of communication which is happening. One is that we have fiber reaching out to the sites, where a lot of connectivity is happening through the fiber, because with 5G coming in, the backhaul has to change from microwave to the fiber. So all the sites, you will see that more and more sites will be fiberized in the coming days, so that the communication is faster. The data funnel is capable of managing all that huge data that will be supported through the 5G sites. And on the second side of it, there is a parallel communication, which is happening from the site controllers to the network operation center, and there we are using wireless communications. So that is happening through GPRS modems. In the past, they were 2G based, 4G based, and in future you'll see all those communication modems will be 5G based. So that is for the site related data to communicate to the network operation center. And the one which I just mentioned prior to this, for connecting the sites and for the data, for the consumer data communication, there's a fiber which is going to be put at the sites. So that's how we are enabling both the communication medias, the wireless and also the wired, in our telecom solutions.
That's fantastic. So, in fact, the this solution will definitely help the entire industry to move towards the wireless transition. And in fact, the wireless transition can be much more faster than the wired solution, because the infrastructure development will again a huge cost, and then the retrofitting will be very much into headache.
Right. That's right. I think we have a big legacy in the country, be it any field, whether it is telecom or whether it is the power backup solutions. We have a big infrastructure legacy, and unless that legacy is also seamlessly brought over to the same communication media, the advantages would not be reaped over a large scale. So of course, at the same time, while we are trying to adopt all these technologies for the newer products in which some of the features are already embedded very well, but we have to ensure that the technologies are seamlessly applied to the retrofit, and we are doing some great work in this area, and all the retrofit solutions are working efficiently in some of the use cases, and we'll keep on working continuously in this direction. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you very much for your key insights and the support for the industry, and definitely we hope that the solutions which you have can transform the entire industry into the new era of the digital revolution and towards the sustainable goal of the entire world by net zero by 2070.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.